This is the race committee. The wind sampling is complete, and this race is live.
So we're good to go in race number 2 of the Puig Women's America's Cup. It's Group A, the America's Cup teams. Race 1 by Athena Pathway, Great Britain. Keep your eye on the start.
There's currently a little bit of left-hand bias. Also, the best pressure at the moment is top left. You might see a fight on that side of the track. All the teams now, they're not going down into the death corner on the right-hand side, all above the line.
Athena Pathway possibly off the foils out of one of their manoeuvres, so they're the only boat off their foils at the moment. Tash Bryant and Hannah Diamond, they're having a big job ahead of them to get back on the foils here. They must get the boat foiling, otherwise they will be in big, big trouble off this start. All other boats on the foils currently at the moment.
We've got 9 knots at the bottom of the track, but there's a lot of bad air as the boats go back and forward. Less than 2 minutes to get going.
The team's just up the course, just keeping up in that clear air. All teams now potentially 1, possibly 2 manoeuvres to go before having to get off the start line. A little bit too early on the board up there by Lindy Red Bull Racing. They might have just saved themselves there. A couple of other boats now coming off their foils as well.
The chase is coming on the British, got 15 knots, nearly at takeoff speed.
French team now off their foils as well. So, big battle now for boat handling. Tricky little boats to sail in these bumpy conditions. That's what it's all about. The British may have just dug themselves out of that hole and foiling, so they'll be looking at executing their manoeuvre for an on-time start. So good job there, getting foiling again. The French needing to build speed. They'll be building in the dirty air of the other boats that have just sailed past them, so not ideal for the French team. Foreign Express Royale Racing currently.
Oh, the French could be in long-term parking there, on port, in the middle of the line, and all the bad air.
Let's go. And turning.
Luna Rossa just on the foils there too, in bad air. Magic and the Kiwis driving back into the dirty air as well, so the British might get the whole shot here.
Race 2, Group A.
This is the umpires. Restart penalty France and restart penalty Switzerland.
America's Cup, and guess what? They may have been off their foils, but they're first out of the gate. Athena Pathway, Great Britain, big save.
Athena Pathway kept their eye on the prize and nailed it. They were 26 metres back, but who cares? They are leading the fleet in race 2.
Really big step change coming.
Yeah, touching the pressure in 5.
Might be a big hand of sass.
Yeah, copy. Okay, when you're ready, we should roll.
Okay, stand by. Board down in 3, 2, 1. Board down. Turning.
High build. Board up. Big build. Okay, nice pressure all along here.
This racetrack's full of danger, isn't it? Really got to judge all those manoeuvres, make sure you're in good pressure, up to speed.
We're seeing potentially gusts of about 12 knots on the left-hand side of the course there, and only about 6.5 to 7.5 knots on the right-hand side. So it will be really interesting to see if these 2 leading teams short tack and actually head back to that left-hand side of the course. Big pressure on the left, so don't be surprised to see some manoeuvres back to stay into that pressure.
Let's go now. Please, let's press.
So the majority of the fleet flying except Emirates Team New Zealand.
The Kiwis just coming off their foils pre-start, jibing straight into a big bad patch of dirty air. Just no horsepower there to keep that AC40 aero package fuel injected.
And nuts. Deep press.
Athena Pathways have just tanked, coming back into that pressure. What was talked about during races, especially from Great Britain, was the need to actually get into good old-fashioned trimming. They're on J2 jibs, and at the bottom of the range, when the wind's really light, they're probably a little bit underpowered. Top of the range, up around 12 knots, they're okay. But what the chatter was between races from Hannah Mills was, look, we need to trim the sails, just ease the sails a little bit if we need a bit more horsepower. And I think that was what they were doing when they jumped back on the foils after touching down pre-start.
If in doubt, ease it out.
Pretty good breeze in about 10.
Yep, tack when it flaps.
It works in a lot of boats.
Keep it simple. Swiss team digging their way back in, and also the French team, after being off the foils there at the start, also re-accelerating and now actually up into third position, which is great news for them.
I will. Board up. Speed all the time here. Yep, good angle. Time for attack there where you should be.
Athena Pathway actually had access to 2 boats, so in the last few weeks we have seen them out training. They have taken this seriously, and it shows, even in these difficult conditions.
Yeah, big step
They're looking
change here
strong.
for manoeuvres and things.
Race 1 winner, Athena Pathway, Great Britain.
It'll be a settle and then jibe when we
Again,
feel like
leading the fleet at the top gate. First leg of 4 completed. To think they were off the foils with about a minute and 20 to go before the start. And look where they are now.
Be surprised if we see an early jibe from the British team to sail back over to that pressure. And on cue,
and turning.
jibing. You can see there on the course, even by eye there without the wind field, just that lighter breeze looking downwind to the left.
In comes Lingy Red Bull Racing in position 2. Race 1, they were in position 3, so looking for points, valuable points. The way it's structured, you need big points. Then, Orient Express L'Oreal Racing, who finished at the tail of the fleet in race 1. They swing around the top gate in position 3. Oh. Enjoy the ride.
This is foiling, sailing 101 at the moment. It's all about short jibing on the downwind leg to stay in that pressure. There's obviously a huge discrepancy in pressure, so absolutely French needing to jibe, which they do, to stay in that pressure.
The battle here in the minor positions. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, American Magic, who pulled their delay card. They follow each other around that left-hand mark at the top gate. Still no sign of Emirates Team New Zealand up on their foils.
They go.
The Americans really needing to keep the eyeballs out of the boat here. Possibly the early jibe there on, but they've decided to carry on into that lighter breeze. Be interesting to see how much ground they lose there.
12.5 knots here, right hand shift. Quite a lot of fluid here all the time, Han.
Yeah. Coming up. About 30 seconds off the line.
Are we all right wind-wise this way, or do we
At
need
the
to jibe?
moment, we should go for it.
Yeah, let's go.
Stand by. We're down in 2.
Tash Bryant, Hannah Diamond trimming for her behind.
Slow time. Bad plan.
Yep, I will. 10 knots,
Wobbles
nice.
there through that jibe.
Big rescue. All the way up.
Touchdown.
Back.
Left it too late to get back into that pressure. I think the British team, can they dig the boat back out? The Swiss team.
I got you.
I need to avoid.
Swiss team are actually the giveaway boat here, so they will need to go up around the back of the British, which they do.
My bad, girls. Good job,
But they're in top gear.
Almost on ley line,
Yes, we can.
the Swiss team, so
will be early tuck.
Adding power.
big gains there for Lingy Red Bull Racing. Sailing down that boundary in pressure and just making a last-ditch run for that gate, so they'll be smart to possibly even jibe while they still can here in pressure and get back into that breeze on the left-hand side looking upwind.
Another indicator of how clean and efficient you must be in the AC40 to avoid losing a place and valuable points. Oh! Hang on a moment, spoke too soon. Alinghi Red Bull Racing off the foils. There goes Athena Pathway, Great Britain.
No, I can't.
Oh, they're struggling to get around the mark. Watch out who's coming in. Orient Express and L'Oreal Racing.
There'll be a full restart here, Stephen, of this race with sailing into this lighter pressure, breeze blowing down from up the top. Whoever can stay on their foils here will potentially win the race as the Italians coming to the bottom.
5 knots of wind pressure down here. Impossible to get going.
Wait for it. How are the Italians handling it?
No problem, siamo nella zona con più vento.
Oh, it's a foiling graveyard at the bottom end of the course here. The Americans, what can they do? They're going to be sailing into this light air pressure as well. It's going to be a race back to the left-hand side of the course, back into that pressure.
Let's go displacement around
Americans are down.
Should we dive around
Oh
like
no!
We're down.
Okay.
Would you
Should we
believe
go around
it?
the other marks since it's easier to
It
take
is
off,
the
or is it
maddest
better
racetrack.
pressure?
Currently at the top of the course is
Yeah, I can
15
see it,
knots
don't
of
see it.
wind.
Yeah.
It is coming their way.
Let's jibe.
Skeletons running around
Can I go
everywhere
forward
here.
up here? Can we jump?
I've got to say though, if you're Emirates Team New Zealand going to the top of the course and if it's moving down towards it, you're actually going,
10 knots.
oh, this is actually all right. We might be able to just pull something out of the hat here.
Well, if they take off, which they have,
Rounding up in 2, 1.
This is a replay of the Swiss.
back into this year, the Swiss sailing there. They had one chance, I think, and that was actually to use all their speed they generated and actually drive the boat round that other gate. So it is now a race to take off. Some of the boats potentially close to take off at the bottom, possibly Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, getting the first pressure coming down that left side. British will also start getting their nose into that breeze, but Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, for me, are launched.
And everybody in the shore crew breathes a sigh of relief.
For drop and 3, 2, 1. Go down.
Saranno le inglesi.
Dai.
And turning.
E board up. Come siamo messe?
Vai dritta così, DMG.
Yeah, easy cross for Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli.
They will sail up into that new pressure
Go down in 2,
before the other boats around them, so expect them to extend. The other teams sailing across to that light air section, which we've been able to identify with the wind field, but they should also be able to see that with their eyes. Teams that have done the best job of getting back to that pressure again are now leading the race, which generally happens in these situations.
Two of us up at the moment, huh?
Yeah, just 2, everyone else is on the foils. Copy. Quando vuoi.
38 knots of boat speed. The Kiwis coming into the top of the course. They are a long way behind, and they won't be able to dig their way back into this race, but it shows you how much pressure and wind is coming down
Vai DMG, Marghe.
on the top end of the course.
Good
C'è
pressure
pressione
here.
qua, c'è pressione.
Coming up.
Parti in 5. C'è tutta pressione qua davanti. Press.
Strada destra.
We're definitely seeing two different winds fighting against each other on this tiny racetrack. It's going to be a massive gear shift. 15 knots of breeze at the top of the course.
Pressure. 1, go down.
Oh, and a massive vent there. Got too high on the foils. Luna Rossa, the British now will just sail straight past them. Enough breeze, though, for Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli to immediately refoil, but they've lost about 6 or 8 boat lengths in that manoeuvre.
Big righty. Press into it. Yeah, whenever you're...
Okay, bad wave here. Alright.
No.
Stand by. 2, 1. Go down. Siamo a 14 nodi, ragazzi.
Foil vent has meant that this race is now back on again, so a solid lead been thrown away by Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, but they are still in the hunt. They need to keep sailing well.
Che ci sono gli inglesi. Pressing, go down.
Go down, go the top.
Just having a quick look at the replay here of that tack.
Pressure. 1,
Getting
go
through
down.
here, big load, a little too long there with the windward foil down, just sheeting on hard, punching out of a wave, full ventilation there on the foil, so
Vai,
mistake,
calzare
unfortunately.
vere, calzare vere.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, but they are still in the hunt, just hanging on by the skin of their teeth. The race lead in race 2 here in Barcelona.
Turning. And board down. Ok, composto, pressione, abbiamo la borda qua.
Have right away.
Tilda su
Luna Rossa
quest'angolo.
Prada Pirelli having to give way, but
Le
they may
inglesi
be
virano.
just ahead. The English
Si
decide to
preparano
attack
per
underneath.
one and
Shirley
finale,
almost
secondo
on
me.
lay line
Okay, not long
for
there,
the top
thank
mark.
you.
Possibly one more manoeuvre for the British.
Secondo me ce la facciamo.
Italians
Giulia.
possibly on lay for right turn.
Loro c'è vento, fidati di me, ti prego. C'è vento. Va bene. C'è onda e vento. Va bene.
So at this point of the race, race 2 of the Group A in the Puig Women's America's Cup, with 3 teams, half the fleet up and foiling. There goes Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, leading around Athena Pathway, Great Britain. Winner in race number 1.
Anna Mills and Saskia Clark wrestling the bull around the top mark there, doing a nice job just keeping under control there. 40 knots of boat speed.
Just sail our boat here.
See the bottom of the course as these boats are sailing downwind. Those 3 boats that didn't get out of that bottom gate and get into that pressure still sitting there. So
Angle here. We are on a little lefty here. Have you down? No, not leeward.
So Italy looked to have good pace to me, even though they had that touchdown coming up upwind for the second time. They do look to be beautifully in balance, and that means they just have good speed. But today's going to be about the 4 races being consistent. You don't have to win every race to win the regatta. And for, I think, Italy and Great Britain, it'll be about being consistent through the day and trying to minimise the risk of a touchdown.
I call for the jibe, okay?
totally agree
25 to boundary down.
with Peter there.
22 boundary.
Maria Giulia,
No problem.
Giulia Conti.
Stand by, board down.
On starboard
And
there.
3, 2, 1. Board down.
Handing over to Margarita Porro, Giulia Fava. Really nice job just staying in the pressure, sailing fast.
Giulia Conti, the real leader in that team. She's a 3-time Olympian. I even raced against her back in 2004. Really solid, experienced performer, world champion in the women's skiff class. Has brought a calmness to this young team.
Yes.
So the
Straight to the high performance sailing, that's for sure. Just sailing into some really light air down the bottom here. You see American Magic still parked.
So the weather conditions play havoc in race number 2, but we get a winner, and it's a different winner this time. It's going to be a slow finish to Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, but they get across the line.
Massive wind shift, I think, Shirley.
Yeah, it's coming off the shore, and that's why they really struggle to get across the line there.
Gee whiz, this may be a full transition shutdown here. This could throw the race on its head. You can see there a complete shutdown, transition zone and new wind direction. Athena Pathway here, caught in between 2 breezes. This could throw the race wide open as they come into the finish. 2 breezes fighting each other. Which one will win out, we will see shortly.
So Athena Pathway, Great Britain, might have to get the paddles out, but look out who's coming in at pace. Will they hit it? A Linky Red Bull Racing. Hold on here. Points on offer, and oh boy. Wait for it.
They'll just sail straight into no breeze here, and they just coast past with their boat speed. Absolute transition zone here.
And they are just going to just hopefully get past. My word, how quickly has that changed in a blink?
Will be the boats possibly even coming from behind that might be the biggest gainers here, depending on what happens. But
The Lingy Red Bull Racing have passed Athena Pathway, Great Britain, but are they going to get there? It looks close, but let's take a look at the nose and where the finish line is, and we'll tell you. That's how close it is. Holding, waiting. Yes, Lingy Red Bull Racing take position 2 in race number 2.
They did well. They saw the opportunities, the Swiss. They kept a calm head. Got that very valued second spot.
Try to go up, Nat, if you can. Wow. Go up, which way? Okay, this way. It's gonna be attacked.
It is crazy weather here. Almost 180 degrees different to what we have at the other end of the course. This breeze coming off the land.
Probably want to get quite through this line, so don't keep pressing there.
possibly some of these other teams in risk of timing out if they can't get from the top mark down through this transition zone. Athena Pathway inching their way across the line there.
Make sure we don't drift back through. Might be tacking in a second.
And they are across Athena Pathway, Great Britain. Win race 1, finish 3rd in race number 2.